Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Devin Canaz. I'm the publisher of Travelweek. We are here today again for another exciting webinar, this time with Quark Expeditions. Before I introduce our guest today, Jake, I just want to go over a bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions, we're going to deal with them at the end. So put them in the Q&A box and we will get to them shortly. So I would like to introduce Jake Rogers. He is the sales director north for Quark Expeditions. Hello, Jake. Welcome to Travel Week webinars.
Hello, thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. The agents are really excited to learn about your product today.
I'm excited to tell them all about it. It's a bit of a long presentation, but we've got lots of information to cover. It's a fantastic product, so looking forward to covering everything that is in the polar regions.
All right, please go ahead.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to just get rid of the video there. Perfect. All right, so yeah, welcome everyone. Hope you're all having a great day and ready to learn all about Quark Expeditions, your preferred polar partner. My name is Jake. I've been in the adventure side of tourism for a while now, and with Quark since 2023. Like enough to have done many expeditions over the years, and look forward to my next one, which I actually just booked to Svalbard in June. Now, I am Aussie. I do tend to talk fast and power through presentations. I do apologize, though. I get quite excited when talking about Quark, and we've got lots to cover. So if there's anything that I miss or you don't hear, please reach out to your rep, or you can ask at the end. So let's start with why I travel with Quark Expeditions. The biggest one for me and many of our guests is that we are, as our tagline states, polar obsessed and have been exploring exclusively the polar regions since 1991, making us the true polar adventure experts. Everything from our vessels to our crew and off-ship adventures are designed to maximize our guests' experience, to showcase everything there is to see and do while in luxury. While every expedition at Quark starts on a ship, the real adventure is what awaits off-ship, to step foot where few will ever dream of going. In fact, you will see and do more with Quark than any other operator, with more off-ship experiences available, allowing you to explore the ends of the earth and set out on new adventures where you will get to see incredible landscapes like nowhere else, or amazing wildlife, such as polar bears and penguins. When you think of Quark, think of these two, polar bears and penguins. Of course, there is so much more to see, but these tend to be the big ticket items on everyone's list. As I said already, everything we do is based on the polar regions, and it's our incredible fleet of polar vessels that will get you there, provide you with all the amenities you would want from a five-star hotel, and give you the sense of adventure your guests are looking for. But be warned, not every company offering Antarctica and Arctic cruises are proper expeditions, and all vessels must follow strict rules set out when it comes to landings, activities, and where you can go depending on the size of the ship you are on. For instance, any vessel 500 passengers or more is not allowed to stop and offload guests at all. Any ship that is 201 to 500 passengers comes under category 2. And while they may unload guests, in Antarctica, you can only have up to 100 people on land at any one time. So those bigger expedition vessels tend to have more on-ship activities to keep guests busy while they wait until it's their turn to go and venture out, but most likely will be a once-in-a-day landing. While all of our vessels at Quark are 200 passengers or less and come under category 1, which gives us more areas to explore, more landings each day, and everyone gets off the ship at the same time, providing a more immersive experience. If you have any questions on this, as it is quite important and it will greatly alter your guest experience, please ask at the end or reach out to me personally. I'm happy to dive into that a little bit more. I didn't realize it was staggered like that. Sorry about that. Yep. As I mentioned, cruise category 1 and category 2, and then you can see all of the passengers per category. We have the World Explorer with 172 guests. She's a 1B polar rated and is an all-suite, all-balcony ship. She explores the Antarctic regions, and we'll be updating her to her newer sister ship, the World Voyager, come the 26-27 Antarctica season. She is similar to the World Explorer and is bookable now. Again, we'll venture in and around Antarctica, and we are very excited to see her wear the Quark flag next year. The World Voyager is again a 1B polar class rated ship with only 168 passengers on board, all balcony, all suite, though we'll have an onboard science center as well, providing guests and our onboard scientists an area to really dive into the science of the areas we are exploring. Incredible big rooms, lots of natural light and amenities, with everything you would expect, again, in the world of luxury. Upgradable cabins like the Superior Suite with lots of room to move and large balcony space. And the glass domed observation lounge on deck 7. It's a comfortable spot to relax and enjoy the panoramic polar views and keep an eye out for those whales. And one of everyone's favorites, the Panorama Lounge, a great place to meet after your day's outing and adventures, share some stories and make some friends. We have the Beacon Restaurant, serving delicious meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and catering for many different food preferences and allergies. Or relax in the Tundra Spa with big open windows. So even though you are relaxing in the sauna, you can still be on the lookout for those whales I mentioned earlier. Clothing is mandatory. Please note that. Clothing is definitely mandatory. There is a big observation deck with unobstructed views where I'd highly recommend being while on board the vessel and being out there with our expedition team, as you never know, again, where those whales will be hiding or where they might pop up, or even an orca might come away to say hello. Now, onto the Ocean Explorer, a newish addition to our fleet last year. With a length of only 342 feet, she may be small, but she's one sturdy ship. And with its unique X-bow design, she can handle anything the Drake can throw at her. Only 138 guests and a 1A or P6 ice-rated vessel, she can venture further into fjords, sea ice, and iceberg-prone areas to give our guests a true polar adventure. She, along with the Ultramarine, operates in both the Arctic and the Antarctic regions. Like all our vessels, massive, well-appointed rooms, lots of light and room to move. Like the grand veranda stateroom, between 254 to 266 feet of space, located on deck 6 near the center of the ship, offers easy access to the lounge, dining room, and a private veranda. Due to its X-bow design, the Ocean Explorer boasts a fantastic atrium, which becomes a great spot to sit, read a book, talk to fellow passengers, or again, be on the lookout for wildlife, as that's what an expedition is all about. It really does provide our guests the ultimate viewing platform, as while all of the elements, you're inside, out of the elements, you're out all day getting wet, you're in the most windiest part of the world, and while you're on board, you can sit back and relax, as I mentioned, in the atrium, as while you're sailing onto your next destination. Now, I know, like children, we're not meant to have our favorites, but for me, the Ultramarine takes the cake. Designed a bit by Quark, she has everything you would expect on board a luxury expedition ship, and then some. With only 199 guests, a 1A or PC6 ice rating, and doing both the Arctic and Antarctic, she's like nothing else available out there in the world of expeditions. Our balcony suites, located on decks 4 and 6, with approximately 226 square feet of indoor living space and a 52 square foot balcony. This entry-level balcony suite is one of the largest available on a ship of this class. This suite is perfect for guests who are looking for both indoor and outdoor living spaces. There are 4 connecting suites in this category, making this an excellent option for families or groups wanting to stay connected to each other during their expedition. Or if you're looking for something a little bigger, the Penthouse Suite is the only suite category to be located on deck 7, with approximately 369 square feet of indoor living space and a 67 square foot balcony. The suite is perfectly for guests wanting to wake up to unobstructed polar views from the warmth and comfort of their own bed. And the suites offer the best of everything from views, spacious interiors, full bathrooms, as well as easy access to the wellness center. Talking about the wellness center, the spa and fitness amenities on board the Ultramarine are an added bonus when adventuring the ends of the earth. And of course, the Bellina restaurant, featuring tabletops that accommodate 2 to 10 guests. Guests can enjoy a quiet dinner with a loved one or join a larger group of new friends. And guests can also enjoy views from every single table with direct access to the wraparound deck just outside. Now, the ready rooms. This may seem like not a big feature, but I can assure you, having been on expedition ships that do not have them, you are left to leave all of your wet gear in your cabin, taking up space and making it harder to get everyone off the ship. Though our ready rooms are heated, so all of your gear in between landings will dry. You can leave all of your gear in one place. And when called to get off the ship, our boarding groups are spaced out as to not overcrowd the ready room, making it much easier to disembark everyone quite quickly. And then when you are back on board, dropped off your gear, In the ready room, you can make your way up to the bar and share pictures of that whale that swam right by your Zodiac, or that sneaky penguin that tried to peck you while you're walking past. Expeditions, they are amazing experiences, and sharing them with new friends, the expedition team included, over a drink or two, just adds to that incredible once-in-a-lifetime experience. Now, what really sets the Ultramarine apart is its two H-145 Airbus helicopters. I snapped this photo moments before boarding the heli last year in Antarctica, and is just one experience I will never forget. The H-145 Airbus is actually the most quiet helicopter in the industry, and also the most sustainable. With an advanced fuel efficiency, reduced noise reduction of the rotors, she's well equipped to take on the polar regions and do so safely. They are 8-seaters, though we take 7 passengers, so everyone gets a window seat. And flight seeing, so I'm just going to take a drink of water here. Excuse me. And flight seeing is an included activity on the Ultramarine where helicopter operations are offered. We don't do helicopter operations in Svalbard. Now, turning in to sustainability practices for a moment, we created the Quark Polar Promise that focuses on a range of different aspects within the organization to be better, better for the planet and better for the regions that we are visiting. We have incorporated state-of-the-art technology to help us achieve our sustainability goals. We removed all single-use plastics from our vessels, and we worked with our hotel provider to replace individually wrapped items like butters, jams, creams, those types of things to be packed in bulk, furthermore reducing our plastic use. Even little things like the LED lighting that uses 50% less energy. And by the end of this year, we hope to have achieved a 10% decrease on emissions per passenger, which we are well on the way to achieving that. Now, diving into our adventure options here, we offer more adventure options than anyone else. Unlike traditional cruise companies, we focus on the off-ship adventure. We offer more ways to experience the polar regions, and that is what an expedition with Quark is all about, getting you further and more immersive into the environment as much as you can and as many times as you can. Many of the destinations we are going, they tend to be those once-in-a-lifetime experiences. So why not send your guests with the true polar expedition company that is Quark, that also offers you more to see and do? Such activities as kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, camping, hiking, the Tundra to Table experience, where we bring on Inuit chefs to showcase their culture and history through food, mountain biking, Zodiac cruising and landing, as well as many helicopter-assisted adventurers like heli camping, heli hiking, and the ice sheet landing, and so much more. There's lots to see and do with Quark. The expedition team. Now, with the highest staff to guest ratio in the industry, our expedition team safely delivers your guest's trip of a lifetime to maximize their polar adventure every step of the way. We became the first polar expedition company to institute its own polar training program, the Quark Academy. The underlying goal of this was to establish standard levels of training and safety that surpasses anything else offered in the industry, for the ultimate benefit of our guests and the protection of the polar regions we are visiting. As mentioned earlier, we're also creating a new science and discovery center on board the World Voyager. Now, this will be our new hands-on science hub in partnership with such organizations as Penguin Watch, the Friendlandia Lab, Happy Whale, and the Polar Collective. This initiative is providing our guests with a new hands-on and immersive experience to better understand and learn about the polar regions and what it is our scientists do to help protect and study them. One thing that I love, though, is this new feature that we're bringing on, which will be deployed on our Zodiacs, is a portable hydrophone unit, allowing our guests to be able to hear whales communicating with one another underneath the surface of the ocean. Again, providing another way to learn more about the polar regions and its inhabitants. I don't know if you can hear that, but this is the sound of a humpback communicating to its baby. Pretty cool stuff. All right, now let's jump to our destinations and take a closer look at, starting at the Arctic. In the Arctic, we explore Svalbard, Iceland, Greenland, and the Canadian Arctic. So lots to see with many different environments to explore, and actually not that far away from North America. Svalbard, also known as Spitsbergen, It's located east of Greenland, up above mainland Norway. And Svalbard is actually a Norwegian archipelago with less than 10% of Svalbard having any vegetation, which is quite interesting. And it is considered a desert. And during summer, the sun doesn't set for 4 months. It's also home of the polar bear, with more polar bears than actually people. And scientists refer to Svalbard as the Galapagos of the Arctic. So if you're into wildlife, this one's definitely for you. The best time to visit Svalbard is between May and August. Again, much of that being due to the climate, as it's too cold and there's lots of sea ice before May or after August. We maximize your chances to see everything during those months that we are there. As I mentioned before, like the polar bear, reindeer. There's just so much to see and do up there, as well as this incredible phenomenon with the nesting season, with over 200 different species of seabirds, such as puffins, gillymonks, Arctic terns, and northern fulmars, just to name a few. But for my fellow bird nerds, this spectacle has to be witnessed at least once. In late spring, the migratory birds begin arriving at their breeding grounds, and their breeding activities provide very unique bird watching opportunities, such as courtship displays, nest building, and even egg laying. During midsummer, the Arctic tundra just bursts into life, and the extended daylight hours that are available to us up there provide lots of time for bird watching excursions and explorations. One such trip providing you these opportunities is the Svalbard Explorer. It's 11 days in duration, to and from Helsinki, with ample time exploring that Svalbard, cliff areas that I mentioned earlier, with all of those different types of seabirds. There is, of course, many other expeditions we have in and around Svalbard, though I can't talk about all of them right now. So if you do want more information, or if you have clients interested in Svalbard, again, reach out to your local rep and we can get that for you, or jump on the agent portal. Now, just moving on to Greenland. Greenland's located right beside Canada and is part of Denmark, which I'm sure we all know by now. They're not going to go down that rabbit hole. We believe the best time to visit is between July and October, allowing you to see lots of unique and interesting landscapes and wildlife, as well as maybe the Northern Lights if you're lucky enough. Greenland, it just simply delivers. It puts your guests in areas that are hard to actually fathom, like the guests in this photo here, taking a moment to sit and relax after they've obviously gone on a bit of a hike with the glacier in the background. Or my colleague Taylor, who many ask how long it took him to hike up to that viewpoint, where funny enough, he always replies about 2 minutes. As in Greenland, we use the helis a lot, getting our guests high up into the mountains to see and witness such wonders that Greenland, as I said, just simply delivers. Having our helicopters really does give us so many more opportunities to take our guests to rather interesting places, like the second largest ice sheet in the world, where we land, crampons and hiking poles at the ready, and we venture out. This is a very fun and unique experience, and we do it with a glaciologist who will lead our guests out and about and talk about what it is we are seeing and where we are, and all of the things about ice that you could possibly learn. He is the expert, and he will be taking you on quite the adventure. We even use the helis in Greenland to take guests heli camping with local hosts high up in the Alpine once again, where you'll camp out under the stars, or who knows, maybe even under the Northern Lights. Funny enough, we actually had the Northern Lights trip here, 14 days in duration, as I mentioned, ironically named Under the Northern Lights, starting in Iceland, crossing the Arctic Circle and exploring Greenland's northern east coast and fjords. Or we have the Southern Greenland adventure on board the Ultramarine, 13 days in length, and again, to and from Iceland. Here you'll get to take a heli hike, experience Greenlandic culture, and step foot on the ice sheet, as I mentioned earlier, with the glaciologist. The wild fjords of South Greenland is another excellent choice among adventurers here. It's 13 days long and gets to visit Viking sites along the way with lots of cultural immersion. Start and finish in Reykjavik once again. Or our 11-day expedition north of East Greenland, where we are constantly on the lookout for Arctic wildlife like polar bears, muskox, and seals. Also a strong chance to see the Northern Lights on this particular voyage, and again, starting and finishing in Iceland. Now, we were doing trips in and out of Toronto, but we changed that as everyone wanted to start during Reykjavik. So you may have noticed, if you are a long-term Quark supporter or booker, you will probably notice that these trips are now mostly out of Reykjavik. Looking at our own backyard, the Canadian Arctic, which I'm very proud to talk about having being a new Canadian citizen and just voted the other day. So this is a good one, which I'm really looking forward to getting up there and seeing the Northwest Passage. It's where you can see some very unique, incredible landscapes, making for amazing photos and impressive sunsets. I've heard people describe it as going to a different planet. One such trip we are running this September is visiting the Torngat National Park, located at the northern tip of Labrador. You can find both polar bears and even black bears in the Torngat, and has been home to the Inuit for over 7,000 years. Torngat actually means place of spirits, with the mountains considered very spiritual. In all our Arctic expeditions, visiting small Inuit villages is one of the most awe-inspiring and magical experiences. To learn firsthand about their culture, their way of life, and how they live so remotely is just incredible. You will get ample opportunities to walk around, guided or unguided, as we want you to be part of the community, even if just for a few hours. We are urging our guests to wander, get to meet the locals, grab a coffee or tea, and have a chat, as we might actually be one of the only few visitors they get this summer. So please, if you're going to do a trip up there, go out and venture and go for a bit of a hike in and around the town and just meet as many people as you possibly can. The Northwest Passage, it's an interesting for those history buffs, and you'll get to learn all about it from our onboard historian, who will talk all about the historic sites, as well as some graves or ancient history such as bones and fossils, which can be found through the Northwest Passage. Starting in Calgary and 12 days long, we have Canada's remote Arctic expedition. This voyage takes our guests to the northmost tip islands, such as Axel Himmelberg and Ellesmere Island. We will go explore the golden lines on the map there. You can see, we don't actually have set itineraries, as you may have noticed with all of these expeditions, as it is an expedition. So we have to, go where the weather allows us to. Be very flexible, and that's definitely something you need to talk to your guests about. Is be flexible. This isn't your typical cruise. So here's this trip here. We are going to be in and around that area, as you can see on the map. Or our Northwest Passage, the legendary Arctic Sea Route expedition. It starts in Iceland. It was Toronto, as I mentioned before, but recently changed. Sailing through the passage, past Baffin Island, and up the Davis Strait while finishing in Calgary. So again, another incredible trip here. 17 days in duration and many opportunities to explore everything that the Arctic has to offer. We're our 15-day, 3 Arctic Island expedition, named one of National Geographic Travelers' 50 tours of a lifetime. Starting in Helsinki with a charter up to Longyearbyen, sailing through Greenland and finishing in Iceland, ticking off many items off those bucket lists I'm sure we all have. Now, sorry to go through these so quickly, guys, but as I mentioned, we have quite a lot to cover. Now moving on to Antarctica. We offer expeditions to the Antarctic Peninsula, the Falklands, and South Georgia, Patagonia, as well as Snow Hill, where you can see the emperor penguins. The best time to go to Antarctica is between October and March. As I said in the Arctic, it's rather cold and dark to do in winter. And our most popular expedition is always going to be the peninsula, also known as the Seventh Continent. So you can see here the peninsula is just south of this area up here, which is Patagonia. The peninsula provides our guests the opportunity to step foot on the continent, which for most of us does tend to be our seventh, which is why they call it the Seventh Continent. See penguins and other Antarctic wildlife, and get back home within a timely manner. Guests get to explore many amazing landing sites, go for hikes and walks, and take in all of the Antarctic landscape. Learn all about its history and the ongoing scientific research that is being done at some of the research bases that we will sail by. Though we are bringing new and exciting expeditions into the fold, such as Antarctic Marine Mammals and Adventure, starting in Buenos Aires, charter flight to Ushuaia, jumping on board the Ultramarine and setting sail for the continent of Antarctica, as shown on the map here. Though this particular expedition has some very interesting differences to our typical Antarctica expeditions. On board is Ari Friendlandia, who is the founder of the Friendlandia Lab that has studied whales since 1997. Ari and his team, they actually co-developed this itinerary, who will be utilizing advanced biotelemetry technology, including drones, suction cup tags, and biopsy equipment to track whales' movements and also feeding habits. This trip will also have a member from Happy Whale on board to bring our guests into the world of citizen science, where they may assist the scientific community through uploading images of whales for, again, traffic tracking purposes. We're also bringing more helicentric based expeditions into our lineup, where we are going below the Antarctic Circle, as we already have done so for many, many years. But this is a particular expedition that's more focused on heli activities and adventures. So we are also taking our guests over to the other side of the continent to explore the Weddell Sea, flying around James Ross and Joinville Islands. Sorry, I can't pronounce everything correctly. Again, Australian. This is a truly unique and exclusive experience to Quark Expeditions. The departure is in December 2025 on board the Ultramarine, and again, a 12-day in length expedition. So if you are interested yourself, or you have clients that are wanting to go to Antarctica and they want to see it differently, or they're really interested in being on board helicopters and getting to experience everything you possibly can while being on the helicopter and doing landings and hiking and that type of thing, this is definitely the expedition to show them. Seeing Antarctica by air, it just simply is hard to put into words, and I do this for a living, is most likely going to be a once-in-a-lifetime trip for your guests. So why not give them the opportunity to see it from the land, the sea, and the air, and actually getting the full perspective of what it is like to be down in Antarctica. Now, I understand crossing the Drake might not be at the top of everyone's list of things to do, though we do have amazing ships, but you can actually elect to skip the Drake altogether. I personally like to sail the Drake, as it does give everyone the ability to get accustomed with the ship, get their bearings, and relax on the way home. But for those that are really worried or short on time, skipping the Drake is a viable option. Where you'll be departing from Punta Arenas in southern Chile and landing on King George Island, where you will be picking up the ship from there and continuing on your expedition and then flying home. So you do not have to worry about the Drake whatsoever. It's an 8-day in duration with lots of landings and off-ship activities, and covers everything your typical Antarctica expedition would do, again, just apart from doing the Drake Passage. Or you may choose to sail the Drake at least once to say you did it, which I recommend, as I mentioned, to say you've done it at least once is still great. I think doing it twice is the way to go, but it depends on what your clients are worried about, if they're seasick or they just are short on time. Only 10 days in length, this one, and another solid option, again, if you have not much time or you wanted to get down there and see and then do the Drake at least that one time and then finish in Buenos Aires. Punta Arenas, sorry, finishing in Punta Arenas. It really depends on which way you go. You can fly south, cruise north, or vice versa. So you can go both ways. Now on to South Georgia. Though it's a tiny little speck out in the middle of nowhere, it's very isolated. It is one incredible place full of many different species of birds and mammals with some very interesting history as well. I highly suggest reading the book Endurance before traveling. It's actually definitely worth a read on any Antarctica expedition and learning all about Ernest Shackleton and his interesting expedition that he had. The best time to visit South Georgia is between October and February. Just look at the amount of penguins they've got here. This is why people want to go, is to see, obviously, these guys. It's where the second largest penguin in the world lives, the king penguin, as well as many gulls and sea lions, as you can see here. And even elephant seals, which absolutely reek, but they're definitely fun to sit and watch and just take it all in. They're very noisy as well. But the big draw card being over 200,000 pairs of king penguins. These little fluffy brown ones, they're the babies, and over time they get their colors when they reach maturity. It's just an incredible experience, one of those memories you would talk about at the dinner table for many, many years. We have a couple of adventures that do South Georgia. The 18-day penguin safari is one option, starting and finishing in Ushuaia, including the peninsula. Or the 20-day Explorers and Kings expedition that includes the Falklands, which is richer with history, does South Georgia, and then onto the continent, again finishing in Ushuaia. But my personal favorite is our epic Antarctica 23-day expedition that covers it all. The Falklands, South Georgia, the Antarctic Peninsula, crosses the Antarctic Circle, and back to Patagonia for your charter flight. onto Buenos Aires. So if you are having any inquiries about Antarctica, probably start with this one and just engage your client's interest. But do remember, this will probably be a once in a lifetime experience for them. So why not do everything? Now, Patagonia, a destination within itself, where we venture through small inlets, fjords, and we pull out all of the helicopters for some amazing aerial views, not to mention great back shots like this one. If anyone does follow me or know who I am on Facebook, you know I like good back shots. 15 days long, starting in Ushuaia and finishing in Torres del Paine National Park with a charter flight back to Santiago, Chile. This trip is a great way to see and explore many highlight areas of not only Patagonia, but Buenos Aires and Santiago, two of my favorite South American cities. So yeah, please check this one out. Again, I'm flying through these quite quickly. We have a lot of itineraries, a lot of information. But if you need any information or you want the particular brochure on any of these, you can download them from the agent portal. Now on to Snow Hill, a very unique and high on all of my colleagues' bucket lists. It's located in the Weddell Sea, as shown over here. I'll show my little cursor, Snow Hill. In the Weddell Sea, on the other side of the continent, with not too many operators actually heading over that way. The best time to go is between November to December, as it gives our guests lots of opportunity to see the pristine white mountains that most people think of when they think of Antarctica, as well as you get to see all of the different kinds of penguins. We have our 18-day Snow Hill to the Peninsula expedition. This is on board the Ultramarine, where we get her as close as we can to Snow Hill, and then we pull out the helicopters, ferry our guests over and landing on Snow Hill. It's about 1.5 kilometers from the Emperor Penguin colony, where we then hike over to see these guys, these little cuties. The Emperor Penguins, the largest penguin in the world. Our guests not only get to see them and many other species of penguins, but they will also get to step foot on the seventh continent, which is obviously that draw card I mentioned earlier. So this is an incredible exhibition to tick a lot of those bucket lists that people may have. Getting up close to over 8,000 emperor penguins, it's just something that has to be seen to believe. It's a legendary expedition with incredible photographer on board, Paul Goldstein, who is there to help take lots of photos as well as help you get your best shot. Almost done here. Now touching on our tools available to you to help sell Quark. Groups. Now, groups is a big for our business. So if you do have a group or you want to try for a spec group, we have fantastic exclusive discounts you can get, as well as FOCs available. So you will get the opportunity to either host the group or at least go along if you do a spec group and you sell the minimum number that we require. So it is dependent, usually on around 10, the 11th goes free. And then, if you happen to sell more, we can negotiate with you. But we are very flexible when it comes to groups, and we are happy to work with you to try and sell it. Now we have a partner portal with everything you need and want as an agent, everything from training, marketing assets, pitches to share, and a lot more there. So if you haven't registered, please do so. Jump on our website and click on the travel advisor section and then register. You also get the Q report sent to you each month. That will showcase everything from current promotions, fun facts, news, and product updates, basically just keeping you in the loop of everything Quark. So if when that one client does walk in one day and mentions anything to do with the Arctic or the Antarctic, you know straight away to jump onto Quark's partner portal, and you can get all of the information. You can also find rates online or search through all of our expedition using the dates and rates section. Now, I use this tool almost every day, so I would highly suggest getting familiar with it. It does have everything you need there, from the included adventure options, the paid ones, as you can see, as well as how many spaces are left with those little numbers in brackets. The trip, the links are there, so you can click on the ship, you can click on the trip, download the brochures, where they start, prices, discounts. As I said, it's all available at a click of a button. May I also quote and hold bookings live online without having to call in, which is nice and easy and great to get your clients booked and is as smooth as possible. Obviously, you can call in and you can talk to our team, but if you are, outside of, excuse me, outside of our call center operating hours, or you're just simply wanting to just get a booking held and see if the clients are interested, or get something quoted, you can do that online. We have our brand folder available to you as well, where you can download images, flyers, social media assets to use to promote your group that we might do with you, and promote Quark in general. Or if you are interested in a particular trip, you can download some information about that here, and share with your social media or clients. Right now, till June 30th, we will be running our Arctic sweepstakes competition, where you may be able to win a cabin to Svalbard. It's definitely worth checking out. And if you have any clients interested, now is a great time to convince them, because not only could you win a spot, but your clients can save up to 50% off their expedition. Seriously, now is the time to book the Arctic. I'm off in June. I can't wait. It's going to be an absolutely incredible destination. It's only going to get more popular, and with that, it's going to get more costly. So now's the time to grab that deal. And who knows, also maybe win a spot for yourself. That's it for me. Thank you for joining, and I hope this helps provide you all with a bit of a better understanding of Quark's Expeditions, and why we are your preferred polar partner. Devin, over to you.
Hello. Thanks, Jake. That was great. So interesting. And I didn't know you use the helicopter so much. That's so cool.
Sorry to throw a lot of information at everyone today, but as I said, we're a pretty unique product, though. Everyone looks at us and they're like, oh, you only do the polar regions, but we do it very in detail, and that is why we are the polar experts. So again, if there is anything that I might have covered, or you want more information on, or I skipped too quickly, you can always reach out to us. But the idea is, as I mentioned, just to get across why Quark is your preferred polar partner, and why it is we are the company of choice when it comes to doing expeditions in those regions. So always happy to help with anyone that wants more information, as well as reach out to your local rep.
Okay, it looks like you did a really good job with your presentation, because so far there's no questions. But agents, I just want to remind you, if you have any questions, to put them in the Q&A box, and we will get to them. How about this question? How flexible are your itineraries in case of like weather or ice conditions? I know you mentioned already that to warn the guests to be flexible, but in particular regions, how much flexibility is there to kind of divert the itinerary?
Yeah, we have complete flexibility when it comes to all of our expeditions, even when it comes to starting and finishing. Sometimes with our Skip the Drake, there might be that we do need to fly, obviously, to Antarctica, the most windiest continent in the world. So, sometimes there might not be the appropriate window at the time that we expect it to leave. But, we have a very high percentage of departures within the same day or within a 24-hour period. So we do have flexibility even when it comes to departures. But when we are in destination and we are on board the ship, we have total flexibility completely, and everyone does when it comes to expeditions. You need to, because you never know, there might be the world's largest iceberg floating off the coast of the Falklands right now, or heading in the way of our path, or there might be as I had on an expedition a couple of years ago, an iceberg break off and decide to roll, with the ship then having to pivot. So yeah, we have complete flexibility, and you do just need to have that conversations with your guests about. They may have done, mass market ships, many cruises with those larger companies out there that do the Caribbean and other places, and having almost a military time, 7 o'clock this, 8 o'clock that, so on and so forth. With us, sometimes that our plans that we are doing or we're giving to our guests the night before in our briefings might be completely thrown out the window because of something just we didn't expect. But whatever the case, wherever we are and whatever it is we're doing, you are going to have the expedition of a lifetime. We can guarantee that.
Very cool. And can you just maybe give us a really quick cheat sheet? Like, what is the wildlife in the Arctic and what is the wildlife in Antarctica? Oh.
Yeah, like for those who may have heard me present, I do sometimes joke that I alarmingly get that question many times about polar bears in Antarctica. Nope. Polar bears are up north, penguins are down south. But when it comes to like a cheat sheet, obviously things like reindeer, Arctic fox, muskox, those are the type of things you will be seeing in the Arctic. And then while down south, you will see lots of penguins, many different types of whales, leopard seals. They're one of my favorites. These things are about 1,000 pounds and almost the same size of a zodiac. And they're fun. They're like a giant cat in the water that will come up to the zodiac and see what you are. But if you are into whales, later in the season, Antarctica is probably the best time to go. you will definitely see so many different types of whales. By day 3, you're like, wow, okay, it's just another whale. It's that phenomenal. But if you are wanting to dive in, or if you have clients that are asking very particular questions on the wildlife they will see and when, on the agent portal, we do have those cheat sheets available to you that you can download for the Arctic and the Antarctic, as it is very different going in, say, November to Antarctica or in March. As I mentioned, very, very different with the wildlife you will see, and what is available to you to be able to witness, as well as in the Arctic and even the destinations in the Arctic we're going. So please don't be afraid to either reach out to me where I can give you more information, or download those cheat sheets. But yeah, there are lots of wildlife in those areas, and especially for bird nerds like me. I don't know if you can see this ridiculous camera behind me. Getting ready for Svalbard in June. But if you are got those clients that really want to see certain particular species, again, use that cheat sheet.
Great. Okay. I think the easiest is polar bears in the north, penguins in the south.
Don't confuse the two. And if the two ever meet, we're in trouble.
Okay, I have a question here which you might not be able to answer.
I'll try.
I don't suppose you know off the top of your head the charter flight times from Helsinki to Svalbard. Sorry, I butchered that, didn't I?
The actual departure times?
Yeah.
No, it would be different for every expedition. So I would say that if you are wanting that particular information on a particular departure date, you can reach out to your local rep, whether that's me or Laura, and we can get that information for you. But yeah, it would be very different for every expedition and every date. It's dependent on so many different factors.
Okay, and final question. Are there helicopters on all the ships, or are there some destinations where that can't be promised?
No, great question. We only have helicopters on the ultramarine. So, not everyone wants to participate in helicopters or is interested in them, as well as being having the helicopters available with it included. It does obviously up the price a tad. So we only have it on the one ship, the ultramarine. With the other two ships, very different. Again, great experiences. Just obviously we don't offer those helicopter assisted adventures like the flight seeing, the heli hiking, the heli camping, that type of thing. So those activities are only available on the ultramarine.
Okay, very clear.
Yeah.
All right, that is all the questions we have today. Why don't you give us a final inspirational pitch on why travel agents should get their clients excited about Quark?
Inspirational pitch. Okay, well, in March last year, I've been lucky enough to get to Antarctica quite a few times. And in March last year, I took my parents down, and living in Canada and being Australian, I only get to catch up with them once a year. So it's quite interesting that every time I do catch up with them, or I fly down to Australia to meet them, the one thing that Mum, and in particular Mum, always talks about is her experience in Antarctica, and she's been lucky to travel the world as much as I have. And the fact is that she still talks about it, and all her friends talk about it. Now all of her friends are wanting to go, and like I had, all of these people that I didn't even know she was friends with, from her work to all of these different places, reaching out to me and be like, tell me more, I want to go. How do I book this? And if that doesn't tell you enough that these experiences are just life altering and life changing, I don't know what will, right? Like if you have someone that is wanting that experience of a lifetime, that adventure, or that to be the most interesting person at the dinner table, do a Quark expedition, or send your clients on one, and just watch their demeanor change from the moment they leave to the moment they come back, and the eagerness to book again and again. And that's why even though we do only the polar regions, we have such a high repeat business percentage, because people, once they get the taste of it and they get the taste of Quark, they come back for more and more and more. So that's what I think would be the inspirational little sales pitch for you. But definitely, when you are talking about these experiences, sell it with passion. If you haven't done one, book one. Invest in yourself as an agent and get yourself on an expedition, because it is those unique individual experiences that you have and those stories that you can tell that really do sell these. And you can do all the trainings, you can go to all the presentations in the world, but seeing and experiencing it for yourself, you will sell so many more expeditions just by having that unique experience. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think that says a lot that you have so many repeat customers, because you think of this as like a once in a lifetime one-off kind of trip, but people are going back over and over. That just goes to show, how magical it is and how taken everyone is by these regions.
Well, that's why we have unique itineraries, as I mentioned before, with having those ones with certain people on board now, certain scientists, or helicopter excursions on the other side of the continent. And even doing Patagonia, like that's still a relatively new trip to us, and we will keep pushing the envelope with newer expeditions and new destinations. Well, obviously within the Arctic and the Antarctic, but when people hear of those new expeditions coming, they book out so quickly. Of the, I think, 140, excuse me, of the 140 people on our Patagonia trip, 70 something were repeat, which is,
Wow.
excuse me, which is, when you think about it, just phenomenal that people want, they might not do the same trip again, but even if they do the same trip again, it doesn't matter because this is an expedition and you're never going to go to the same places. Even if you book the same date, the same trip on the same ship, we're never going to go to the same places that you did again and again. This is an expedition. You can hand on heart say that you have been to, multiple different places, even if you've been to Antarctica, as I have, over 4 times now, you see and experience something different each and every time, which that's what an expeditions is all about.
Okay, well, that was quite inspirational, and I'm certainly sold. So I think the agents are going to have a fun time positioning this to their clients over the next few months.
Well, as I said,
Jake,
Laura and I, we're in Canada. I look after everything from Manitoba back. We are here to help you. We will jump on a call with you, even with you and your clients. Like these are big ticket items. We do understand sometimes they might be a little bit hard to sell, whether that be the trip duration, where it's going, or even the price point. We are here to help you. Please, utilize us. That's what we're here for. We get quite passionate about it, as you can tell, about this product. We believe in it. We believe in what we're doing, and we just want to spread the love. Yeah, that is Quark Expeditions. So thank you for having me. Really appreciate it today. And again, guys, if anyone has any questions, just reach out.
okay, thank you so much, Jake, for being here today. That was a great presentation. And thank you so much to the travel agents out there. We appreciate you spending the time with us today, and we will see you at another Travel Week webinar. Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.